Stephanie with the Rancher's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a canning project. I'm out here in the garden and really the only things left that I'm putting up is things with tomatoes and peppers because that's what I have an abundance of. I did start some broccoli seeds, some spinach seeds, and actually a zucchini and squash seeds. Here in Missouri, I have heard that if you start those seeds and get those plants going later, you can get some zucchini and squash in the fall before we get our first frost, if we have a good year, and not have to fight squash bugs so bad. So I did a zucchini plant early in the spring, and I maybe got 4 zucchinis off it before the squash bugs took over, even with picking eggs off every single day. They're just terrible out here. And so I'm gonna try this method, never done it, and we'll see if that works. So those things are in the ground and sprouting up, and it's nice to see new life. Hopefully I'll get a good harvest of all of those things before we get a frost. But right now, today, we're gonna harvest some banana peppers and we're gonna make and can pepperoncinis. I love pepperoncinis. I can them in the pint-sized jar, and we use them on pepperoncini chicken, which I can link here in the description. You can use them on salads, you can put them on sandwiches. They're just so good, like just a normal turkey sandwich or something. They're just really good to have, and they're really, really simple. Banana peppers grow like wildfire, so if you have 3 or 4 plants, I promise you will have enough pepperoncinis to last you for a long time. So I actually only grow them every other year because I put up so much on the years that I do grow them that we don't go through them all. So we are currently, I think we have 3 or 4 jars left of 2022, and so I knew I needed to grow them this year, so I'm starting to replenish that stock, and then I won't grow them again next year. So I can feel it starting to sprinkle. This is a good rainy day canning project, so I'm gonna quickly get these banana peppers off the vine into my bowl here and get inside before I get dumped on, and we'll get the canning project going. Okay, we're back inside, and I have all my peppers here nice and washed, and I have 7 pounds of banana peppers here, and so right now at this point I'm just going to prep them for the canner. So I just cut off the stems, take my knife and run it in between and get out the seeds in the middle, and then I just into, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, just slice them up into little rings. I usually discard the ends. I'm gonna do that with all of these peppers, and then I'll make a simple brine, a vinegar salt brine, and we'll get them into the canner. This is really, really simple to do, and you can actually get some helpers to help you slice them all up. 7 pounds is typically gonna give me about 5 pints, so not a ton at a time, but because they're so easy, I don't mind just doing a few pints at a time. In fact, when I'm gonna do canning projects, I try and like batch them so that I do a bunch of, if this week I'm doing water bath canning, I just leave my water in my canner and I just kind of reuse it over and over again and add more as you need to. It kind of lets everything just be prepped all the time. I leave my canner out, filled with water. I canned something yesterday, I canned something the day before that. I hope to get 2 things prepped and canned today. So it does make it a little bit easier when you keep things already prepped. Then it's not such a big deal just to do a few pints at a time. Now, you'll see that some of my banana peppers are no longer yellow and they're orangish red. I actually left the really red ones on the vine. That means I did not get out there fast enough to get them. And they get spicier as they change color. So my family doesn't really like the spice, so, well, my husband does, but my kids don't. So I left the red ones on the vine. I might pick them here shortly and just let them for fresh eating for him. but I won't put them in the pepperoncini jars. If you get some seeds in this, it's not that big of a deal. The seeds are fine. But back to the color. You will see that some of them are turning red, they're a little bit orange, and those will be just fine in there. They might give it a little bit of a kick, but the vinegar kind of washes it off too. So I'm gonna finish getting these all prepped, and then we'll start our brine. Okay, we've got all of my peppers here in this bowl sliced up. I don't know if I said this before, but if they get broken at all, it's okay, because you're gonna pack them in tight for the jars. Now we're gonna get our brine mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my canner on so that the water starts to heat up inside here. And again, I'm doing these in pint-sized jars. So this is super easy to make the brine. So I'm gonna put in 1 quart of water, 2 quarts of white vinegar, 1/4 cup of good salt, and then I have 6 cloves of garlic here, and I'm just gonna mince them into my brine. You don't want to skip out on the garlic, it's really good. Now you can do more than that if you guys like garlic flavor. So anywhere from 6 to 8 cloves of garlic will work really nicely. Now once I'm done mincing all of my garlic, I'm gonna give this a stir and then just let the salt dissolve and the garlic really infuse into the brine, and then we'll be ready to fill our jars and then put the brine over top of them. Okay, while our brine is heating up and the garlic is infusing into it, it's looking really good and smelling good, we're gonna go ahead and fill our jars. So I've already cleaned my jars really well with warm soapy water, and now I'm going to take my prepared peppers here and I'm gonna pack them into the jars rather tightly. If you don't, they will get, they'll start to float once they cook in the canner. So I'm gonna use a wide mouth funnel and I'm just going to pack them to about the brim of the jar, which is about a 1-inch headspace. The brine, we're gonna go to a 1/2 inch. And when you pack them, I just kind of push them down and add some more to it. So I had 6 jars cleaned here. It looks like this 7 pounds is gonna give me just about 4 jars. Okay, I have 4 jars here, nice and full, and I'm gonna go ahead and brine this in. Now I know I'm gonna have leftover brine, and you can save it if you have more peppers that you're gonna get ready to do, and then just reheat it back up, or I just usually dump it. But I'd rather have more brine ready to go than not enough. If you had more than 7 pounds of peppers, I would stay with the same brine amount, because you can always do more. So, okay. Now I am going to fill all of my jars to a 1/2 inch of a headspace. Okay, and then I'm going to take this tool here and I'm going to stick it in my jars, each of the jars just a couple times. You want to make sure you get out any air pockets or anything like that. And then I am going to take a clean dish towel here that has a little bit of water on it, and I'm going to wipe the rims of my jars very, very well. You want to make sure you get any salt particles, any garlic, anything off of it. Otherwise, you are not going to get a proper seal. Now I'm going to take my lids and my rings, and I'm going to put them on fingertip tight. That just means as soon as you hit resistance, you go ahead and stop. Now we are ready to get these into the canner. So I can hear my water already hot. So I'm going to want to use my jar lifter here and get them in. Now since it's 4, you don't have to really worry about them touching because you'll have plenty of space in the canner. But if you have more jars, you want to make sure that you leave several inches of water in between each jar. Now, because we're water bath canning, you do want to keep your jars completely submerged. So I need to add just a touch more water. That's where my handy dandy pot filler comes into play. You want about 1 to 2 inches above the jars. Okay, now I'm gonna put my lid on, make sure my stove is on high, and as soon as this water comes to a rolling boil, I'm going to start my timer for 15 minutes, adjusting for your elevation. So actually, I will do mine for 20 minutes. The recipe calls for 15 minutes, but 20 minutes is what I will add. I'll add 5 minutes to that for my elevation. So find a chart online that just tells you what your state's elevation is, and then you can go to a canning chart online and it'll tell you exactly what to adjust to make sure that you process them for the right time. I will not start my timer until that water is at a full rolling boil. Okay, my water reached a full rolling boil and I went ahead and started my timer. So